Why do you need to improve your dating competency? What's the big deal? Why can't you just be as is? Well, I'm going to give you 6 great reasons why just being as is isn't good enough. What's good, everyone? Mario here. The following video that you're about to watch comes from my free online course, Intro to Game. Now, a lot of this content from the course is going to be on this YouTube playlist, so do check that out. But not all of it. So if you are interested, and I hope you are, in leveling up your game, then follow the link in the description or the card for this video and sign up so that you can take this course online for free at our website, upyourdatinggame.com. See you soon, and take care. Enjoy the video. What's good, everyone? Mario here. You know, one of the first conversations that I tend to have with new or clients that I'm considering taking on, male or female, is helping them understand the need for them to level up their dating competency or level up their game. Because I understand, and I want them to understand, and I want you to understand just how important it is to the process of achieving your success. Because along the way, you're going to have to pay a price. You're going to have to invest either time, energy, money, whatever. You're going to have to invest. You're going to have to pay that price, and it's inescapable. And sometimes you don't mind paying the price, but sometimes you do. Sometimes it's not so fun. Sometimes it's boring, or sometimes there's something else that you would rather be doing. So what holds you to performing that action that you know you should be doing that's good for you? What holds you to that? Well, I believe that understanding the why is always crucial to that to that momentum remaining there, because motivation comes and goes. But if you understand the why, that can get you through the times when you don't feel like it, when it's rough, when you're like, shit, I could do something else with this time, energy, or even money. I get that. But you have to understand the payoff. And I want you to understand it's also the difference. Understanding the why can turn something that you consider work into something that you consider an investment. All right, think about that. One has a different connotation. One is work. We're like, we bitch and moan about that. The investment, we're more likely to be like, well, it's not my favorite thing in the world, but you can see the payoff and it makes sense. You're like, well, got to do it. And you can kind of lean into an investment, even if it's time, effort, energy, and money, whatever it is. You can lean into that if you can see the payoff, if you can understand the why. So that's why I feel it's so important for everyone, including you all at home, to understand how critical this is. So what I want to do in this video is share with you 6 reasons that help you understand why it's so important for you to level up your dating game, your dating competency, so that you can obviously succeed more and achieve the goals and successes that you want in your lifetime. So let's get into those. The first reason that I want to bring up is competition. Whether you like it or not, life is a competition, dating is a competition, everything in the world is a competition. You would hope that it doesn't seem like that, but it is. I know a lot of people that are struggling with dating, they're just like, well, I don't get it. And they truly come out with a very entitled sort of mindset of like, I'm a good guy. I don't see why I don't have a date or relationship or sex or whatever. And it doesn't work like that, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody knows how great you are. You kind of still have to qualify and reveal that. How great you are doesn't matter to anybody until they can recognize it. So the way I kind of explain it is, you could be very skilled at a position and you could be very qualified for a job. However, if you don't have a very good resume, and I mean not a good resume, not because you don't have the experience or skills, but if you didn't know how to write a resume, and if you walked in with a resume that didn't have the best information on it that was relevant or well written, and let's say it's kind of a beat up piece of paper, it's got a coffee stain on it, it's wrinkled, and it's got bad information, but you're really good at the job and you could do everything that they're asking you for. Matter of fact, you'd be a superstar. You wouldn't get past that interview. They would look at you and they'd just be like, thanks, but no thanks. And in some cases, you might not even qualify to get that interview, because they might see your resume and be like, yeah, thanks, but they never give you a call. So in life, it can be the same way. You could be this great man, a great woman, but if you don't present yourself in a way that's competitive, that allows you to kind of show people like, hey, I know there are other people in this room or in the world, and I need to stand out, so I'm going to compete. I'm going to show off some of my skills and what's good about me. That's something that you may not like, but you don't get to change those rules. You cannot abide by them, but you will lose more often than not. So I want you all to understand that You have to develop your game so that you can be competitive, and not just be competitive, but step all over your competition when you can, and step all over your competition with certain advantages because you've developed your game and you can just kind of do things better. Life is competitive, so you always want to give yourself a heads up, just like you would in the professional world. You go and get that master's. Why? Because it gives you a competitive advantage for the job that you really, really want, or the raise that you want. Or the meeting that you're going to have with somebody, and you're going to have to help them understand just how qualified you are for the promotion. We do this in the professional world. We need to understand the personal world is the same thing. So you need to be very competitive. And some of the most unsuccessful people I come into contact with in as a dating coach are the people who are the least competitive, or the people who want to pretend and hope that competition doesn't exist, but it does. And when they try and go against that rule, they lose and they get frustrated. I'm just saying, swim with the current. Understand that life is competitive. When you figure that out, you embrace things like learning your game, improving your dating competency, because you're understanding the more I make myself look better or develop myself from the inside, and the more I have to give, the more attractive and desirable I am. So you have to be competitive. Understanding that there's competition helps you understand, I've got to develop my game. All right. The second reason for you to develop your game is to help you fill the void between where you are and where you want to be, what you want to become, the experiences you want to have. I like to call that point A to point B, and I say that game is your way to traverse from point A to get to point B. All right. Imagine here's point A, here's point B. And how do you get there? The bridge called game. Game is consisting of developing your awareness and competencies of the better strategies of action. So as you develop those, you're creating a bridge for getting from that point A, where you are now, to where you want to be. That's what game does, because you have to qualify for that experience. You have to be ready for it, and you have to be, sometimes kind of selected for it based on your level of awareness and competency in that area to achieve that point B. So to get from point A to point B, game is your path. Developing that awareness of the better strategies of action and competency in them, so that you can pull them off. It's not just enough to know about them. You have to be able to pull them off so that you can qualify to experience your point B success, or whatever that place is that point B is for you. The third reason that I want you to understand is that really pushes home this need for developing your game, your dating competency, is that humans are driven by a few things that it's just hardwired into us through evolution. Sure, you might have heard a couple of them. Survival, you know about that one. Reproduction, you know about that one. But there's an umbrella figure that I believe we don't really talk about, because I think survival and reproduction goes underneath this taller umbrella, this major one that I believe is legacy. And I think we have these drive that's innate for legacy, because we don't do it just through surviving and reproducing. We do it through impact. I'm doing it right now, offering the knowledge that I have onto you, and hoping that it impacts your life and helps you achieve different experiences, more of the successes, and helps you live a better life, which allows you to pass it on to others. There's a hidden not secret, but there's just a drive that we all have to both survive, reproduce, and leave a legacy. All right. We have to level up our dating game, our dating competency, because we're motivated, in a sense, by leaving a legacy. So what legacy will you have if nobody listens to you? What legacy will you have if you don't have the experiences or get to share more of who you are with the world? So when you develop your game, what you're doing is you're developing yourself, and the more you have to give, the more you become, the more you have to give the world. That's part of your legacy. So I think not only do you have a drive to survive and reproduce, but I believe you have a drive to have a legacy. And that's why we do so many of the things that we do. I mean, you think about it, why are we doing some of these things? It's legacy. We are driven by legacy. So if you're driven by legacy, you can leave a bigger legacy by becoming more. So that's why it's so impactful for us to become more, develop our game, and just become better versions of ourselves, period. All right. And the fourth reason that I want to share with you is that we have to develop our game so that we can satisfy our basic human needs. And this is something that I want you to understand. Humans have just a few, but I want to point out a few basic needs that we have. We have a need for love, to give and receive. We have a need for relationships. Humans just the worst thing that you can do is what to a human? Put them in a prison and do what? What's worse than prison? Solitary confinement. We have a need for relationships. All right. That's just for all of us. We do. It's not just a woman thing. Guys, we need relationships too. Solitary is the worst. And it's because, there's just something within human beings. We don't want to be alone. All right. Even the people who enjoy time alone need somebody else. We need a relationship, even whether it's even a cat or a dog, or a relationship with just one other person. We need a relationship to feel fulfilled in our life. This is a basic human need. And then also we have this need to give, to express, and to create. So we have to put forth something. Remember, I was talking about legacy earlier. Humans have a need to give of themselves, to express of themselves, which I'm doing right now. I'm giving you actually, see what I'm doing right now with Get Game Group is I'm giving something because I have to. All right, so there's something within me that I have to express. I have to give it. I have to create it and allow others to receive it, because it's just a drive, a need that I have. Like if I didn't do this, I wouldn't feel like I was doing everything or doing the right thing as a human being. So you have a need to give and express and create as well. We all do, all right, in our own ways. Just there's something that we all have, and it can be different. For me, one of the things that I have to do is I have to express myself and offer it to the world, and I do that through my gift for social dynamics, one that I've developed as well, so that I'm better at it and more qualified and more competent in it, so I can give you better information. But I have to do that. You have something like that too. And also we have to receive and we have to experience. That's another human need, is to receive and to experience. And the more we develop ourselves, the more we develop our dating competency, the more experiences that we get to take in. There's some people who are like, geez, I would love to just know what it's like to get this person's attention. I'd love to know what it's like to be on a date with them, be in a relationship, or be in a relationship with that person, have a family, whatever. We have things that we get to experience as a result of our dating competency or our game competency. So in life, it's all about the more you become, the more experiences that you're qualified for. So think about that. If you become a person that is developed so much, like you're going to qualify for better experiences. Like think about it. There's some guys out there, like here's a funny one. Guys are like, oh man, I would love to have like a threesome with okay, let's crawl before you run, fellas. Because a guy saying that might be like someone who has like anxiety talking to one girl, and he's like, oh man, I would just love to have a threesome with two women. And like, hey, let's slow it down there. You have to qualify for that. You have to develop the competency. See how it works? You would look at that guy and be like, dude, you so don't have the ability to pull that off. And what you're saying is you don't have the competency, at least yet, to pull that off. If that's something that you want, no judgment, whatever. I don't care, but it's a great example. You know what I'm saying? But that's a great example of saying how you have to qualify through your competencies for certain experiences. That guy might be only qualified for having a great conversation or taking a woman out on a date and having a good date, but he's out of his element or his capabilities trying to have a threesome or expecting to have a threesome. So that's a great example of how life will give you the experiences that you qualify for. So if one of your basic human needs is to receive an experience, you can really increase those experiences that you get to go through or receive as a result of your competency. So especially when it comes to our love lives, our personal lives, when you improve yourself through expanding and improving your level of dating competency, of your dating game, you really have more worlds and more opportunities, more experiences that open up to you. All right, that's super important. And let's talk about the benefits of learning game. When you improve your dating competency, guess what you get to do? You get to win more. You get to lose less. And what you also get to do is you get to reduce and minimize your risks. And you get to reduce and minimize mistakes. Those are fantastic benefits of improving your dating competency. So basically, you know what to do more. So like you feel more confident, and you feel more confident because what you know, it just puts you in the path that will have fewer losses, more successes, more pleasure, less pain, and you'll know, like, I could probably not do that. That's something stupid I should avoid. That's a risk I don't need to take. That's what developing your dating competency does. It doesn't mean that you can't still make that mistake, but you could still know about it. And if you choose to follow that path, well, you could take that lesser strategy. By all means, you could, but you have options. And what you could do is choose a different option that would maybe be more inclined to offer you greater odds of success. All right. And the last reason that I want to talk to you about, the sixth reason, for you to really value developing your dating competency or dating game, is that people in life really fail for one of two reasons. Either they don't take action, or they take the wrong action. And I want to talk about the inaction first. The inaction comes from a place of ignorance. You know, when you're ignorant of what to say or do, you're fearful, which leads you back to inaction. And the more you're in not taking action, the more you just remain in that state of ignorance of not knowing what to do or say because you haven't done anything to grow. You haven't gotten any new exposure, experience, education, and you haven't put forth any effort. You've just stood still. You've done nothing. So that inaction, that's not going to help you succeed. Now, there's some people, they do take action, but it's the wrong action. So it doesn't take them from point A to point B because it takes them to point C, which is not their desired outcome. It is not their success. It's not the point B that they were going for. So they need to understand that there is something wrong with that plan of action that they need to address. All right, it's wrong somewhere. Something is wrong, or their level of competency in that area is wrong. So they need to go back and either get better at it or choose a better strategy of action. Try again. Key thing is take action again to get to point B. Eventually, you'll get there following that cycle of if you take action, you learn, well, this didn't work. Let's try it again. Let's modify. Let's learn through some of our experience now, and your education improves. And eventually, do some tinkering. You figure out the right formula, the right path, the right strategy, what you needed to do to go from point A to point B to get your success. So it's important for us to develop our game because it can really allow us to, one, take that action. So inaction is off the table. And two, it helps us understand and get a head start as far as if we are taking action. This is probably a better strategy of action to start off with, and maybe we can absolutely just throw some of those other strategies of action off the table because we know better. So we can save ourselves time, energy, maybe some embarrassment, maybe some pain, and the feelings of failing. You can do so many things that can make your experience better. It doesn't mean that you're instantly going to have success when you develop your game, but what it does do is it stacks the odds in favor of greater success, and it helps you align with things that are more of a choice rather than leaving things up to chance. So I hope you understand better why it's super important for us to develop ourselves, to develop our dating competency, to develop our dating game, because it rewards you. But you have to invest. You have to pay that price, but paying the price is one of those where I say, remember, it can either be work, which has that negative connotation, oh man, work, or you can pay the price of the time, energy, effort, money, whatever it is. And you can think of it as an investment. With an investment, you're thinking about that payoff. And you when you're investing, you're like, well, this makes sense why I'm paying this price right now, because there's a payoff for paying this price now. So much different way of thinking about things. And what I wanted to do was just kind of talk to you and have this moment with you, because if we were working together or considering working together, I would make sure that you understood this. So as much as I can, I wanted to have this discussion with you right now in this format so that we could get this information out and help people understand why it's so important. Like I said, I want you to understand the why, because that's crucial and critical to you really buying into this effort to develop and expand yourself, to develop your dating competency and improve your dating game. You all take care. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated the content from this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And male or female, if you're not satisfied with your dating or online dating experience, I invite you to join one or both of our free academies. We have Get Game Group Academy and Get Game Group Online Dating Academy, both of which send out free weekly videos designed to help you up your game.